All right, YouTube, I have a sick one at home, so I cannot leave the house and go source today. So we're going to do a what sold video. So we're going to rewind to the clock a little bit, and then I'm going to show you either 15, 16, 17 items right around there that I sold in the month of July. As I have mentioned before, it's a recurring theme. I'm very, very down year over year from a sales perspective, even though my listing count is the same. We'll talk about all of that here in just a minute, but I'm sort of stuck doing double duty, dad duty, and recording at the same time. So I'm going to produce some content for you, and let's take a look at some of the more exciting things that I sold in the month of July. All right, from July 1st through the 31st, my sales are way down from last year, but it is what it is. I'll get into that in future videos, but I'm definitely feeling the pinch. So if you're feeling like it's slower year over year and you're doing basically the same amount of listings and you're carrying, which I am, about the same amount of listings that I had last year at this time, I'm just feeling the burns. So $9,723 in gross sales, $5,700 in net. Quantity sold down 16%. My average sales price is staying pretty strong. So, you know, it's at least I have that going for me. So it's just a volume thing for me. It's just a little bit slower. But let's get into some of the things that I sold in the month of July. The first one was this Yankee Candle November Rain. I sold this for $50. This is pretty rare and discontinued and desirable. I bet if I had waited, and somebody had suggested this, if I'd waited closer to the October, November months, I could have gotten more for it. It's fine. I'll take the $50. I paid $5 and it took 3 months to sell. Definitely one of the ones that you want to keep your eye out, because I do believe that this goes into the $60, $70 range if you hold it and you sell it in the October and November months. So keep an eye out for November Rain. I stress, look for the discontinued candles, scents, Bath and Body Works, Yankee Candle. I continue to have success in those categories, and I know you will too if you just make it a habit of continuously scanning them. All right, this next bag. First, I had sold this Amy Kestenberg bag. Kestenberg, is that how you pronounce it? And I thought it was black. It's actually navy blue, so it was returned to me, and I sold it, I think, for less to the person that bought it in black than I did, because I sold it for full price to the current buyer, who I believe left positive feedback for this bag. It's sold for $120. It's all for love, leather, zip top, convertible, and I paid $8 for this bag. It took 3 months after I relisted it to get it sold. I think 3 or 4 months in total if you count the first one that I sold and I had to return. But there's something I want to make aware for all of you that may not be paying attention to the fees that you're paying. I paid, because this was a sale that was over $100 and it was shipped to a buyer in Minnesota. I paid a road improvement and food delivery fee of 50 cents. Now, when I saw that originally, I freaked out and I was like, we need to burn everybody at the stakes that is responsible for creating this fee. And then as I was doing my homework, I read this, and we're going to read it together, regarding that fee and how it affects especially people in Minnesota. So I'm going to read this verbatim. It says, don't jump so hastily to that conclusion, especially if you don't live in Minnesota. Most of it's quite rural. Many of the roads in the 87 counties sorely need repair due to constant level of agricultural traffic. The Minnesota legislature regularly holds sessions in which the road and bridge repairs are discussed and debated, but for a large segment of the legislators controlled by a conservative bloc which has vigorously fought any road and bridge repairs for decades, so on and so forth. It says, after this, hopefully this new road improvement fee will begin to repair the roads and bridges in outstate Minnesota that have long been ignored by our conservative legislators. And clearly they're going after, one side of the political spectrum here. But it does say that, remember the 2007 collapse of the I-35W bridge in Minneapolis that killed 13 people and injured 145 others? I suspect the survivors of that disaster would not have condemned the road improvement fee as a bogus ripoff. Now, I agree with that to a certain extent. Like, you'll get tugging at my heartstrings when you mention those things, but it still begs the question, like, why wasn't this taken care of in the first place? Why are they going after eBay sellers and online sellers to pay that fee? It's a fee that's paid by eBay, so it's just a tax, I believe, on the buyer. I don't know that it necessarily affects us as sellers, but that is just something to consider. So I wanted to read that to you because it was just such a strange fee to have to pay. But why wasn't something like this handled internally? Why are they going after online sellers that sell in every single state? I don't know. It's beyond me. Anyway, Bag sold in 3 months, good sale. And then the next one here is the Sac Ventura convertible backpack. I don't know if I bought these at the same time, but this is another navy blue bag that has some nice tooled leather to it. Very, very cool looking. Has some marks on the front, but that didn't affect the sale. Had it listed for 60. I sold it for 60. I think I also paid $8 for this. This one took 5 months to sell, but another nice bag that I photographed inside. And sometimes I struggle with taking photographs on the inside with no actual lighting. I rely heavily on the natural lighting when I'm shooting indoors. If the weather's inclement outside, I would much prefer to shoot when it's overcast outside. And I've mentioned that, so long-time listeners hear me say that often. But if you're new, I think the best way to take your pictures is in all natural lighting where it's like heavily overcast, and that gives you the best, in my opinion, depiction of the color when they receive the items on their end. If you do it inside like I do, you know, in this instance, I tend to get shadows in the house, and that kind of makes things a little bit more difficult from a color perspective and color matching. All right, next one here, helmet case, Shad SH26. This I bought at a garage sale for, I believe, $10, and it was in excellent condition. All the pieces, parts, keys, and whatnot. I had it listed for $50, and I think I sold it for full price. Yes, $50, and this took 3 weeks to sell. This was a pretty good find as well. This person had lots of I was sort of out of my leagues. There was a lot of like bike parts and motorcycle parts. I picked up a few other things. I don't remember exactly what they were, but this was one of the bigger ones. So 10 on 50, I'll take that. That was a good sale. Next one here, Hartman tweed, and even Hartman nylon continues to be great sellers for me. They sell a little bit slower than they used to, but they still sell. This one, I think I sold it in 1 day. I had it listed for $120. I sold it for $105. I paid the best thing about this is I paid regular price, which I think was either $6 or $7 for like the luggage in the store that I bought it in, but it's brand new with tags. So I think I may have underpriced it because it sold so quickly. I do not care. I will take the one with the 105 and run with it. But Hartman tweed, brand new with tags. You can see the retail price on this. I don't know if my tag shows it, was around, I think, $500 to $600 somebody paid to get this brand new. So at $105 brand new, it's an absolute steal. I'll take the sale. And like I said, sold it in 1 day. It's gone. I'm happy with it. We'll move on. Next one here, Sturkowski, a Sturkowski fiddler hat. If I bought this at the bins, because I don't remember exactly, I paid literal cents for it. If I bought it in store, it was $3, but I had it listed for $60, and it did eventually sell for full price. And it took 7 months to sell, but I mean, it's a great, you know, 60 bucks on 3 or less is phenomenal. But I feel like, because I don't remember shopping at a thrift store for this, that this was one of my like sleeper finds at the bins. So this was excellent. 60 bucks. Fisherman hat, peaked cap are some of the keywords that I use. 22-inch black. Even though, like, even outside here, you can look at, sometimes when I photograph black, it looks a little bit navy blue on my phone, but it's definitely black. And I don't know, suppose the buyer is happy, but this is a brand I've never sold before. Never heard of it until I found it for the first time. So that was a pretty pleasant surprise. All right, next one here, thrift store find, Coleman 4-person tent, call it the Evanston. Sold comparables were in and around the $90, so I just jumped on that train, and I think I sold this for full price as well. I paid either $15 or $20 for it, and it took 1 month to sell. My pictures were super easy. In fact, I didn't even open the box that was on the inside because it was factory sealed. So very fast to list, easy for me to ship, although it was on the heavier side. And 90 on 15 is a pretty good return. So that was another good one too. And in July, it makes perfect sense that a tent would sell. Next one here, you guys saw me source this in one of my thrift run videos. Jonathan Adler, you can see that I spelled yellow incorrectly, but that's not going to have anything to do with it. These are very highly collectible canisters with all sorts of different words. There's gluten, there's gluten-free, very, very collectible, a very collectible like Vice collection set from Jonathan Adler. This took 5 weeks, if I remember correctly, canister. It took 6 weeks to sell. I had it listed for $150. I sold it for my full asking price. I did not, if I recall, receive any offers on this. Somebody just bought it outright, finally. and it was in excellent condition. So 150 bucks. Definitely look for these canisters that are sort of pinstriped, almost like fair, or like something you would see at like a fair, that type of design. You guys know what I'm going for, like, or like at the circus with those stripes, and then in multicolors, multi sayings. So keep your eye out for those. Next one here, Disney Oogie Boogie Nutcracker. This was fun. This was brand new in the box, and this I found it at a thrift store. I feel like somebody had it and put it back because it was in a spot that you normally wouldn't find it in, just kind of tucked away. So maybe somebody reconsidered it because it was priced $15, but I sold it for full asking price, 60 bucks. So if you see one of these, definitely check that out. And if the price they're asking is worth it, it's a good seller. So consistent sales. And this took 1 month to sell. So it was a pretty fast seller. I love A Nightmare Before Christmas. Absolutely fun movie. Tim Burton is crazy. Has anybody seen Wednesday season 2 yet? I don't have Netflix anymore, so I'm kind of missing out because I understand that, and Catherine Zeta-Jones is phenomenal in her role, and I think Lady Gaga's in it. They have a lot of interesting cameos, so I'm kind of missing out. So if you've seen it and the second season was as good as the first, let me know in the comments. All right. Next thing here, pair of shoes, Adidas Superstar. I think this took 3 years to sell. Talk about list and forget. So they probably were priced a little bit on the high side at $120, but I did sell them for $102. I paid either $5.50-ish or $6 for them. Since it was so long ago, it was probably around $5.50. And like I said, it took 3 years to sell. Adidas 80s Deluxe Superstar, and I want to say these went overseas. I don't remember exactly, but the buyer left positive feedback. So yeah, they were just, I think, well, they can't be old. It's just 80s style, because if you see, like, you see how I see this little QR code, that would be an indication that they're not actually vintage. But still got 102 for them. So good sale. Keep your eye out for these Adidas Superstars. I'll show you what sort of like that gold tag on the front right there. You ever see something like that in that blue suede? Check it out. Another Adidas item that I sold, Flamengo training warm up. Again, one of those things where I just looked up the sold comparables. It looked like they were in the higher dollar range, so 90 seemed fair to me, and I sold this one for full price. But this also took a year and a half to sell. It's insane to wait that long for some of these sales. I mean, you could price this at 50 and move it much quicker and turn your money over faster, but sometimes even that doesn't work. So list and forget, because I paid $5, $6, $7 for this, is fine for an item that eventually sells for a year and a half, in my opinion. I feel like no matter what you do, sometimes the best strategy is just more listings, because you can be the best priced, you can have the best pictures, the best description, you can be promoting your listings, and the thing still doesn't sell. I think that's just how eBay works sometimes. I don't think there's ever like a foregone conclusion that this is going to equal this if you do this. Sometimes you can be the best, be the most aggressive price, and it still sits. So whatever, 90 bucks, got paid full price on it, and that's a pretty huge return on $7. So took a year and a half. It is what it is. It's a jacket from 2017, and it was in excellent condition. Next one here, another pair of shoes. We're talking boots this time. Tecovas pull-on boots. These are Stocktons. These were in really nice shape too. Take you through some of the pictures. You can see it's a little bit overcast. I feel like, just looking at my pictures, I took these in the later afternoon. I don't love taking them at this time in some cases, but they still came out pretty nice. Had a little bit of, I don't know what that mark is on there, but it was all right. I had them listed for 100. I think I sold these for 75. Not too bad, right? And they are a size 13 wide. The EE is the indication that they are wide. How long did it take me to sell these? Only took 1 week. It's really not bad. Boots are like $8 or $9 in my area in most thrift stores, unless they're marked up. These were not marked up. So 75 on 8, another good return. Next one here, Louis Vuitton. I was really shooting for the stars to get 300 for these suede slip-ons. I'll take you through the pictures a little bit slower so you can get an indication. I took these on a rainy day. There's the bit. So they look like on the back. Let's take a look at the soles. There's the insoles. There's the markings. They are 100% authentic. And then there's the soles. Louis Vuitton suede, size 10. I sold these for $190. I had them listed for how long? 1 year, and I paid $20 for these, I think, at a thrift store. So Louis Vuitton is obvious. Again, I was shooting for the stars, probably why it took a year to sell. Thought 190 was perfectly fair, and they're gone, out the door. Good sale. Next one here, these Birkenstocks are pretty funky. These are Arizona Big Buckle shearling. They were pink, they were loud and fun, but they were brand new. And you can see, even though they have the scrapes on the leather, that's very normal for this type of leather, this type of oily leather. I see this a lot with other brands that I sell consistently, other shoe brands where the leather gets sort of scratched up like that. I still listed them as new. They still had the tags. I could have marked them pre-owned, but I think people understand that it just comes with the territory, those scrapes. That leather's never going to be perfect in that condition, even when they're new. So I had them listed for $100. They sold for $85. I paid $5.99 for them, and it took 3 weeks to sell. I think these went to Canada. I think these went up north. Shout out to anybody that's watching in Canada. Say hello in the comments. But you can see those scrapes. Still sold them for new. No problem. I think most people understand that that is what that is. So interesting pair. Pink is sort of an outlier color. They make them in other colors, but they sold fast. Can I tell you? Next one here, vintage Grateful Dead. This is front and back. I found this at the bins a while ago, and then I sat on it for a while. I didn't list it for, I think I had it for over a year before I listed this. It took 6 months to sell from the time I did get it listed. It's a 2X, and then the back says, fare thee well. It's from 1995, tie-dye. 2X is a great size to sell. Vintage t-shirt market is smoking hot right now, and I think that's been consistent for years now. It's super hot. But I took an offer of 80. I could have waited and got 125, but I'll take 80. It's not one of the more desirable Grateful Dead styles, but $80 is great, especially since I found this at the bins. So I paid like $1 for it ish. Sold in 6 months. Vintage t-shirts. Pay attention. All right, last one. Had this Bachmann Santa Fe Flyer train. I think I caught this on film. So it was around $5 or $10. I don't remember exactly what they had it marked. I think they had it marked $4.99, which I thought was unbelievable. And thank you for pricing it that way if you are in management and you're watching this. Had it listed for $75. I sold it for $64, and had to go through and make sure that all of the pieces and the parts and the components were there. So it took a little bit of time counting and making sure everything was, in fact, where it was supposed to be. But it was definitely brand new in an open box. And it only took 2 weeks to sell. So that was a great seller. And I think that's it for us. 15, 16, 17 items. Pay attention to that road delivery fee. And yeah, that's it. Let me know in the comments if you've had to deal with that fee. Let me know in the comments if your sales are as bad or as down as mine are. And we'll get some more What Sold videos coming up in the future. Thanks for watching.